everyone, welcome back to another video of Mike's Geek Corner with your host, Mike Quevedo. And today, as I stated in my review of Batman the Cult, I'm doing a review for you for the 4-part comic miniseries, Punisher, POV. It is done by the same creative team of Batman the Cult, with writer Jim Starlin, artist Bernie Wrightson, and colorist Bill Ray. And this one was published by Marvel in 1991. It is considered a loose or unofficial sequel to Batman the Cult. As I understand, the story goes that when Starlin and Wrightson's idea for a Batman the Cult follow-up had been rejected by DC, the writer and artist ultimately landed their concept in the House of Ideas, and where their story was shaped ultimately for Marvel's own dark and more lethal vigilante, the Punisher. By the way, for the link to my review of Batman the Cult is on the description box below for those who have not seen it yet. So, what was the end result of a Batman Cult idea turned Punisher vehicle? Well, right off the bat, no pun intended, this yarn doesn't involve a cult like the Batman story does, but it does involve certain disruptors of society as a foil to our title character who indulge in the bloodletting of those unfortunate to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. I'll put it to you this way. If Batman the Cult is taking to something like the Children of the Corn or Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13 and Escape from New York, then Punisher POV is more like Carpenter's The Thing combined with Darkman and Tobe Hooper's Life Force. The story begins with two radical 1970s weathermen, Dick Wainscroft and Senkers Powell, being released from prison after serving a 15-year sentence for 16 politically motivated killings. As Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, is observing the two ex-cons doing a deal with an arms and crack merchant and seeing that the two radicals had not seemed to have purchased any armaments, he decides to ignore them and instead await for a crime family to arrive and terminate them and the dealer. Unbeknown to the Punisher, Deck and Sankers had actually purchased Plastique in that deal and begin to indulge in an extortion campaign that involves ransoming banks, including actually blowing up a branch, killing many in the process. These events draw Frank Castle's attention and begins to investigate. These acts also compound the deluded mind of a delusional paranoid man named Chester Goodall, who believes it is a work of monsters, of whose arrival he has been preparing for years, with a sizable arsenal at his disposal. When Sankers mishandles the making of a bomb, it causes an explosion that kills Sankers and leaves Deck severely disfigured. As Deck takes Sankers' head with him into the sewers through a path known to him, there he gets engulfed by a volatile chemical mixture dumped by the company of Deck's father, CEO Damian Wainscroft. After Wainscroft's team is sent to collect lifeform affected by the formula, Dex's unconscious body is discovered by the team and taken back to the company's lab for research. Unmoved that it is his own son's body that was found, due to his criminal past, Wainscroft gives orders to proceed with studying Deck as their specimen, not long before Deck, now possessing far greater strength and driven by an altered state of mind that includes a periodical hallucinatory stage, breaks loose from the compound, brutally slaughtering lab and security personnel, and begins a number of assaults on women in order to satisfy his hunger for a certain dosage of their blood. As Frank Castle's investigation leads him closer to the horrific abomination that Deck has become, a manhunt from other venues begins to take shape in reaching the transformed radical, as Damian Wainscroft borrows the services of the man of the Kingpin himself, Wilson Fisk, to retrieve his son, and Chester Goodall commences his demented quest for monster hunting, which leaves innocent blood spilled, including that of his own mother. In an attempt to eradicate this seemingly unkillable behemoth, will the Punisher be forced to join forces with the very criminal element he's sworn to destroy? And what is this odd illness that Deck's first assault victim is experiencing? With Nick Fury also entering the scene, there's clearly more to this matter than meets the eye. Again, no pun intended. So, while this story is not as well structured as what Starlin and Wrightson did previously in Batman the Cult, it does possess a liveliness to it with its genre mixing of vigilante action and creature horror. The Marvel elements connect overall effectively, in my opinion. If you're familiar with the story elements of Man-Thing, be on the lookout for a little bit of a connection here. There are scenes you might get a feeling of a Batman residue in the characterization of the Punisher, with some of the acrobatics and some of the detective work, but it might not be all that incongruous to this very early 90s version of Frank Castle that is still very much in the Bronze Age mold. A nice touch was also Frank Castle's chemistry with one of the Kingpin's enforcers named the Chief, as they form a bond as they're working together to stop Deck. I very much appreciated the original villainy presented here. Deck Wainscroft provides a very engrossing foil with his weatherman radical background and becoming something even more extreme physically. And it's just as gripping as Chester Goodall, whose paranoia and instability makes Frank Castle's perspective look jolly. And I found the finale might be a little bit weird, but at the same time maybe not that arcane to Punisher's modus operandi, I suppose. So let's talk about the art. Bernie Wrightson, he delivers a delightful dose of the macabre, just as he did in the Cult and his other work like in Swamp Thing. If not more so here in POV, again helped nicely by Bill Ray's stark coloring. Deck in his transformed state is one of the most fascinatingly gruesome monsters Wrightson has drawn. His look for Chester Goodall is also very interestingly more cartoony looking than the rest of his characters. And I wonder if it could be that, like his name might imply, it's maybe a nod to Dick Tracy creator Chester Gould, who I understand had a very simplistic, narrow view of crime and displayed the most extreme of punishments for criminals in his Dick Tracy strip. Maybe, who knows. So if you enjoyed Batman the Cult, you might appreciate Punisher POV, as Starlin and Wrightson bring us again a gritty, pulpy action horror story, this time with Marvel's most lethal vigilante. And I would also say that if it is one a Punisher fan should give a chance. All 4 issues should be available on Amazon or eBay, or maybe even your local comic book store could get them for you. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave your comments down below. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll be seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.